Okay.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Draw Control podcast. On today's episode, I am joined by senior on the Wagner women's lacrosse team, Katie Siverson. In her collegiate lacrosse career, Katie was named on the second team All-NEC as a sophomore and was named NEC Rookie of the Week 2 times during her freshman year. As a sophomore, Katie finished second on the team with 28 goals and also finished third with 33 points. Before college at Morristown High, she won Rookie of the Year, Offensive MVP her sophomore year, and was elected county and conference honors as well. And as a senior, she was the team captain, and I'm super excited to have her on the podcast today. So, welcome to the podcast, Katie. And how is everything going?
Thank you. Everything is great. I'm so happy to be here and I'm looking forward to this great opportunity to chat with you today.
Well, I'm super excited to have you on as well. And how is your summer going so far? And how are you doing regarding your injury recovery? Do you think you're going to be ready to play for fall ball coming up?
Yes, I should be ready for fall ball. I actually just had my 4-month post-op appointment. I had shoulder surgery. I dislocated my shoulder one day in practice, tore my labrum, and I had to get it fixed. So I'm 4 months out, typically like a 6 or 7 month recovery. So it puts me right in September to be cleared for contact. So I'll be good to go for fall ball if everything continues going well, which is something I'm really excited about.
That's awesome. Well, obviously, outside of your recovery for your injury, have you been able to work on some other things for the upcoming season, or has it mostly just been rehab and you can't start working on those things until you're cleared for contact?
So a ton of rehab. Like probably 2 or 3 days a week, I'm going to rehab on top of doing our team lifts, team conditioning. I'm really working on the conditioning part because I couldn't run for a good couple of months after my surgery. So now I'm really getting back into the swing of that. I can finally start to do wall ball, work on getting my stick skills and my like strength and endurance back in my shoulder. Um, so I'm finally able to progress into like real playing stuff, which is super exciting.
That's awesome. I feel like that's going to be the toughest part about being injured is sort of getting that rust off and just sort
Yeah.
of remembering how to do everything again. I know it seems weird, but at least for me, when I played a sport, that was sort of the thing I had to sort of adjust to after an injury.
Right. Completely.
Now, being you're a senior next year, which is probably pretty crazy for yourself to think about, but what type of leadership are you sort of thinking about bringing to the team next year? Would you consider yourself more of a vocal leader or lead by example type of player?
So, this past year, my junior year, I was actually lucky enough to be a captain of our team. So that was such a great experience. I learned a lot about myself, about my teammates, and leadership in general. I would say that typically, not just this year, but every year I've been in college so far, I'm more of a lead by example kind of person. So I work really hard and I try to motivate others to work hard and put their best foot forward. But once I got hurt, I wasn't able to practice, I wasn't able to play. So I really had to lean into using my voice more and being more of a vocal leader because I couldn't do the physical things that I was before. So I think that having those two very different experiences in the span of 1 year of fall and spring semester, I think that that sets me up really well going into my senior year to be able to finally do those leadership things on the field as well as use my voice and communicate and be just the best kind of well-rounded leader that I can be. So definitely a mix of both, which I'm really excited for.
Now, have you had the chance to sort of meet any of your new teammates for next season? I'm curious how that works. I assume you probably sort of know the freshmen when they've come for their official visits, but I don't know if you have any transfers coming onto the team next year. I'm just curious sort of how you get to know the new players before they come on campus. Is there like a group chat? I feel like this some of the behind the lacrosse scene stuff that people want to see that no one really talks about. So I thought I would just ask.
Of course. So yeah, we have a group chat. Our group chat is up and running. And on our team, something we do that's pretty cute is we do like a stick work video over the summer. So you do a stick work video and then you nominate somebody else. And it kind of goes around the team until everybody's made a video doing their wall ball routine. So the freshmen they get to see everybody else and we get to see the freshmen. That's just like a super cute little fun thing we do. We have our group chat made, and I actually, a lot of the girls, I shouldn't say a lot, but in the past couple of years with the new incoming girls, I'm from New Jersey and a bunch of them have been from similar areas right around me. So I've been lucky enough to know the girls before they come on campus, which is super great. And I feel like that kind of lends to building great relationships early on in their experience and making them feel more at home on campus and on the team and with everything new. So yeah, we have our group chat made, and I actually missed the official visit, unfortunately, because I had surgery really
Oh,
soon
okay.
before that. But um, yeah, I do try to reach out. We all talk in the group chat, so that's super exciting. And the first weekend of school is huge because we don't really have classes yet. Lacrosse hasn't started, so like that first Friday through Monday when the freshmen have orientation, we try to get together as much as possible so that we can really hang out outside of a classroom or field setting.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, I was just thinking, like, most of the time they probably do their visits like 2 years before they go to school, like their junior year of high school. So I was just
Yeah.
thinking, like, maybe like during your freshman year or something like that, you might have seen them.
Yeah, I mean, we actually, a lot of the girls do come on unofficial visits. So and that's usually their junior year, you're right. So they'll come to campus, we'll go on tours, um, and they come to practice. Some of them they watch. So we get to meet them, and then it's kind of like really exciting to see those girls who do end up committing because we already have met them and spent time with them.
It's probably cool to see the other ones who didn't commit. And when you face them, it's
Yeah,
like, oh, I remember when you toured, you could have been on our team.
right.
That's kind of cool as well, I would imagine.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Well, let's transition now and talk about the beginning of your lacrosse career and sort of work all the way up to where you are today. So you're from New Jersey, like you mentioned, Morristown specifically. So talk about growing up there and how did you start playing lacrosse?
Sure. So, Morristown's a great place. I love it so much, obviously, my hometown. But I started playing lacrosse. I was really little. I was probably like 5 by the time I had a stick in my hand, and it was because of my older sisters. They were, I guess, in middle school at that point, and they had picked up lacrosse. And so there's 4 girls in my family, and the lacrosse kind of trickled down through all of us. 3 of us are playing in, well, have played in college. My oldest sister, Megan, played at Louisville and then Maryland, and now I'm at Wagner. And then my younger sister, Brayden, is actually going to Stony Brook in the fall. So, like, we all played lacrosse from really young ages and we played together. So, it's just something that really brings my family together and the community. It's become so big in Morristown. So, it really is a special place. And the lacrosse community specifically continues to grow there. It's great.
That's awesome. Is there any sibling rivalry between you guys? I assume you guys want to keep proving to one another that you're the best lacrosse player in your family.
You know what? It's funny. We have these little running jokes in our family. I think sibling rivalry, but definitely friendly. We all are really, really proud of each other and just cheer each other on above everything else. But, some funny little remarks here and there just keep
Yeah.
us, and it's great.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Well, do you play Stony Brook at all, non-conference wise? Because they're
We
sort
played
of
them in the
close to
fall.
Wagner. Oh, so that'll be kind of
Yeah,
cool playing.
we did last year.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully, we'll continue. Stony Brook held a play day, and we were able to go there. So I'm hopeful that we're able to go to it again because it would be so fun. So my sister, she did her freshman year at Bucknell and just transferred. Now she's going to Stony Brook for her sophomore year, and
Okay.
I never got to see her when she was at Bucknell. But I'm hopeful now because we're a lot closer that I'll be able to play her at Stony Brook.
That's hopefully a fall ball game too, because I feel like it's not as serious, so you can have fun with
Right.
it. I feel like
Yeah.
it's always hard to play. Like I know two siblings play each other in a NCAA tournament game. I'm like, that's kind of brutal because you're gonna end
Yeah.
one of their seasons. So I
Right.
feel like fall ball's a little bit of a better way to do it if I had to pick a time to play my sibling.
Absolutely. I agree.
Now, growing up, did you have any favorite lacrosse players or teams that you like to watch?
Honestly, my oldest sister Megan, because she was like since as young as I can remember, I was watching her when she was in middle school, high school, and then college. And that was kind of before like I feel like streaming was a thing. Like we didn't really see much lacrosse on TV. So obviously I was at my sister's games all the time. And when she was at Louisville, she was really great. She had a great career and then spent her last 2 years at Maryland. And they actually won the national championship her senior year in 2019. And I was in high school at that point, but it was the most amazing experience ever, being able to see such high level lacrosse. And my sister was a part of it, so it made it even better. So I would definitely say kind of my sister and watching her throughout the different stages of her lacrosse career.
That's cool. That's probably the best way to end off a lacrosse career, to win a
Yeah,
national championship.
absolutely.
Does she have any like trophies or anything that she keeps with her from that? I assume
Yeah,
you
they
probably
get
try to take one photo with the trophy too.
yeah, my sisters and I all have a picture together at the tailgate with the big trophy, and then they all get like the little kind of mini personal ones, and it's still in our living room, I think.
Oh
So,
wow. I'm surprised she
yeah.
didn't take that with her somewhere.
Yeah, right.
Now, before college, you played for your high school at Morristown. So just talk a little about your high school lacrosse days, what you took away from it, and what's like the best memory you would have from your high school days with Morristown.
So my high school experience was definitely different because I had only my freshman and sophomore year, and then my junior year was COVID, so I didn't have a season, and then my senior year in a winter league game, but like I would say in late January, I tore my ACL, so I missed my entire senior season. So I only got 2 full seasons of high school lacrosse. My best moment was definitely when we won the county tournament my sophomore year. And just really the people made it so great. I had such great role models to look up to as a freshman and sophomore. We had girls that were going to play at really high levels, and we did really well in those years. And then obviously COVID and my senior year, I was out due to injury, but it was a great experience. And again, it's just like a learning experience, and it's so different from college, but I look back and I have really fun memories. So I loved it.
That's got how you've handled that adversity. Obviously, everyone had to deal with COVID, but I feel like that's such a kick in the butt to miss your senior year after dealing with that. What tearing your ACL. I'm curious sort of how you handled that mentally, really, sort of knowing that you weren't going to be playing high school lacrosse again.
Yeah, I mean, it was devastating at the time because obviously missed my whole junior year. And then to get hurt in a winter league game was just like, it wasn't fun. And then I knew the next time I would step on a field was once I got to college. And that was such a scary thing that I had to kind of come to terms with. So the first lacrosse game that I played since really a full season was sophomore year. I had my last lacrosse high school season, and then my freshman year of college, I played in our first game, and I had a 2 year break between that period where like no lacrosse, nothing was normal. I was hurt. So it was scary, but it was like so full circle because I came out on the other side of it, and I realized how much of a better person and athlete it made me to deal with that um kind of really hard time.
Yeah. And how do you think your high school and club experience as well sort of helped prepare you for college? Was it that sort of adversity you faced, sort of knowing that you can get through that, and that must have made your college transition to college lacrosse much easier for yourself, sort of knowing that you can handle those tough times.
Right. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was actually out my whole freshman fall. I couldn't play at all, really. I couldn't do contact at all. And then I went home, and over winter break I got cleared. And I was kind of thinking to myself, there's probably a chance that I'm not going to play at all. I didn't play all fall. And then I came back and I actually ended up starting our first game my freshman year. And that was like, I was so floored. I was so shocked and surprised, but I worked really, really hard in our couple weeks of preseason after I was cleared. And that was totally something that I brought with me from my high school and club experience because I've always been taught like the harder you work, the more results you'll see. So that was like I worked my butt off and I got myself where I wanted to be. And it was even better coming off of an injury because I was like, I got this. It's totally great. And it couldn't be any better.
Now, talk a little bit about your recruiting process with Wagner. What did that look like for yourself, and what made you want to go there versus the schools you might have looked at?
For me, Wagner was like, I didn't realize that I wanted it until I came and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so perfect for me. I didn't really know much about Wagner. And then Michelle was the coach at the time, Michelle Tumalo. She reached out and I was like, oh, this is so awesome. She's so great. And then I came to campus and I was like, this is so perfect with everything with the proximity to home. It's only like 45 minutes from home, which is far enough. I mean, but it's not like I don't feel like I'm at home every day. And then like being in close to the city, like we hang out in the city, we do all these fun things. And like the culture that Wagner has had, it's been a winning team in the NEC. It was just really everything that I wanted. And there were other places that I could have gone or thought that I wanted to go. But once I came to Wagner, I was like, this is perfect. This is it.
Yeah, and is it kind of what's that transition like from the coaching staff perspective? Because obviously Michelle Tunlo, I think she's at Army now.
Yeah.
So it must be cool to see her having a lot of success there. But what was it sort of like getting to know Coach McPartland and learning to play under her? It seems like a great scenario because you had the chance to be recruited by a great coach and now had the chance to get coached by a great coach as well.
Yeah, like Michelle was incredible. I actually didn't get any time with her because she left right before her freshman year. But she is so incredible and she's doing such great things at Army. So it's like she found her place and she's just so amazing. And then we had Kelly come in and it's so exciting. Obviously, it's scary getting a new coach you weren't recruited by. You're like, oh my goodness, what if she doesn't like me? Whatever. But Kelly's been nothing but amazing. She's totally kind of stepped into this new head coaching role with such grace and we're learning, she's learning, like we're all kind of on this journey together. And I feel like my grade specifically, we were her first year being here and now she's in her fourth year. So like our whole experience has been with Kelly and it's been her first 4 years. Um, but she's really amazing. She brings a lot to the team and to our dynamic, and she has so much knowledge and so much talent. So it's so fun to be able to learn from her, and she's amazing. Yeah.
Now, what was like the biggest adjustment you had to make to college lacrosse as a freshman? Was it the speed of the game, physicality? I'm just curious about that, especially having 2 years off in between that time period, like we just talked about.
It was, yeah, that those were definitely the two biggest things for me. It was like the speed is an adjustment for everybody. I feel like it's so much faster. And especially when I wasn't able to play for a while. And then like the first time getting hit again and falling, I was like, oh my goodness, this is so scary. But that's kind of the adjustment that everybody has to make. And it was just like I ended up getting over that bump and it was smooth sailing from there. But definitely those two things, the speed and physicality.
Now you get to play in the NEC conference. Just talk about that conference, the competition you face each game. I think it's a very underrated conference with teams like yourself, LIU, and Sacred Heart, and many others. I'm just curious, sort of, what it's like being a part of that conference and trying to prove that the NEC is a great conference because I feel like you guys don't get the respect that you deserve from other like lacrosse media outlets.
Right. I mean, it's all kind of relative. I mean, there's in every conference, I feel like you have kind of different levels and different teams and whatever, but it's the NEC is great. I mean, we do face great competition. I mean, Sacred Heart is obviously such a great team. They're actually transitioning out of the NEC, but to get to play them for those years, and LIU is always a great game for us. Like those kind of teams that give us really good competition and we kind of have to figure out how to deal with it and like it's always a great game and it's so much fun. And then like we always have new teams joining the conference and we have teams that this is their first time have their schools that have never had teams before. So that's also kind of like a really cool experience because you're part of something new and it's great. So I think that the NEC has a lot of kind of different things that make it special and fun. So I mean, we love it.
Yeah. One of those teams is Howard. How cool is it to play them? Because I know they're a brand new team in
Yeah.
relatively to D1 college, women's college lacrosse.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're always great. It's like those new teams, they have these players who all they want to do is play and they want to learn and get better. And it's just such a great experience and it's so awesome. And you're talking to other girls in the field and it's your opponents and it's so awesome. It's fun and getting to kind of see these programs take shape and form into great teams is really special.
Now, how do you balance academics and lacrosse at such a high level?
I think that that's something that all student athletes kind of have to deal with. I think for me, school always comes first, academics, because if my school isn't right, then I can't focus on lacrosse the way I need to. So I'm just really on top of my schoolwork. I have a planner that I use for everything all the time. And like the satisfaction of crossing things off my planner is like the best feeling ever. So really just keeping school in check so that I can give my full attention to lacrosse when I have to.
Now, let's get into your college career now. So, between your freshman and sophomore year, your stats got better and better, at least from my perspective. So, from your perspective, what would you say is like the biggest improvement you made to your game and the past, though, in between those 2 years that sort of led to the success that you had on the field?
I would say just experience, like being able to even be on the field as a freshman I was so lucky because most people don't get that. And I was able to get playing time on the field and see what it was like to play on this college landscape that was so new to me. So I think that experience gave me the confidence going into my sophomore year to be like, okay, now I have to step up and kind of be a game changer and do all the things that maybe upperclassmen had done the year before. And so kind of fill in those roles where it was needed. And I think really just having so much fun. Everything has been so great. So it's like, it's easy to do well when you have a great group of girls around you. Everyone's working hard, you put in the work. So I think it's just kind of how things worked out for me. And I'm hoping that I can kind of make the same transition in my senior year. So yeah, really just I think putting in the work and having fun while doing it was the biggest thing for me.
Now, your sophomore year in the NEC tournament, you guys made it to the championship game and lost to Sacred Heart. So I just want to ask, what did you take away from your team's performance that season and just that experience of winning a playoff game against LIU and going to that specific game against Sacred Heart? And how do you think that experience is gonna, I guess, from what you learned from that experience, how do you think that's going to benefit yourself and the teammates that you had who are still on the team now heading into your senior year?
Yeah, that I mean that was tough. That was a really tough loss that we all kind of look back on and we're like, "Oh gosh, we could have just, you know, taken it to the end of the game." But I mean, that's kind of how sports is. Somebody has to win, somebody has to lose. So it's like it stinks to be on the losing side of it, but we learned so much about ourselves and kind of our team dynamic. And I think that was something that will continue to light a fire for those of us who were in that championship game and on that championship team who felt what it was like to lose. And I really think, I mean, my senior class specifically, like we really, really don't want to feel that way again, especially our senior year. We want to kind of put an exclamation mark on our career and go out on top. So I think that that is something that motivates us still every day. And we talk about it in practice, we talk about it in film all the time. So I think using it as fuel is something that we've really kind of taken that on that came. Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, this past season, you had a season-ending injury to your shoulder. How have you handled that challenge of not playing? And has there anything you've learned about yourself and your team by watching so many games and getting a different perspective from the sidelines?
Yeah, it's all about perspective for me because I had the same thing in high school, now again in college, and it's just something you don't expect to happen. And when it does, you kind of have to figure out a way to deal with it. Um, I really just, I mean, I had to be able to communicate with people while not being in the mix of everything. And I had to be able to get through to people in the field who I wasn't on the field with. So, and kind of still have an impact, figure out how to have an impact, which was hard and it was frustrating at times because I was like, I wish I could just get out there and help my team. But it's like it's all perspective, and I learned so much about myself. Like nothing will teach you more about yourself than an injury. So I think that and it makes me a better person the both times that I've gone through it. So I think just I don't know, it's an experience that has shaped me. So going to senior year, I think that I'm really ready to like put my best foot forward in that sense.
Well, and thinking about next season, what's like your goals and expectations as a team and as an individual as well?
I think as a team, we all of us are really on the same page, and it's something so special that I haven't really seen in many team dynamics in my life. Like this group that we have going into this year is so together that it's like that's what's going to take us really far, and we all just have so much love for each other. We're literally like a family of 30 sisters. So I think that this is like such a big year for us in the sense of like we are going to do everything we do together and for each other. So I think that that's a huge team goal. I think that's going to give us like one more game, one more push at the end of a game, like to do it for each other. And then for myself, I just really want to kind of play. Like I'm so excited to be able to get a stick back in my hand and get on the field and just have fun with my teammates because like you don't know what you have until you don't have it anymore. So I'm just so excited to get out in the field and just do the best that I can, leave everything on the field. That's always something that I'm really kind of push myself to do, and especially now because I didn't get to this year.
So let's transition to another segment I like to call the non-lacrosse segment, where I ask you some non-lacrosse questions to get to know you a little bit more off the field. I'll give you some of my answers as well, so you can make it a fun
Okay.
conversation. So first one is, if there was a movie made about your life, who would you want to play yourself?
That is a good one. That's always something that I feel like I don't know the right answer to, but I would say when I was little and The Parent Trap was like a huge movie, everybody would tell me that I looked like a young Lindsay Lohan. So maybe a young Lindsay Lohan.
Okay, that's
Right
cool. That's
answer.
cool.
Yeah.
I guess for myself, I don't know, probably like I like Andrew Garfield. He's a great actor, but we don't look
Okay.
anything alike. But I feel like it would be
That's
cool to
okay.
have him play me in a movie. So I'd go with him because I don't
Yeah.
know. He seems super chill, and he doesn't
Yeah.
really care about the fame, which I kind of respect. So I'll probably go with him.
That's great. Love it.
Now, what's the most underrated holiday and what's the most overrated holiday?
I want to say for me, the most underrated holiday is Thanksgiving because I love it so much.
I agree.
And
That's a good holiday.
I don't think we get enough like time off for it. I wish we could get a full week off.
I don't get to this. The Wednesday half day makes no sense to me. Give us that day off.
Right. Just get it off. Let us have time with our loved ones and our friends, whatever. And honestly, I love all holidays. So I can't say that anything's overrated because I just
Hmm.
love them all.
Yeah. I don't know if your school does it, but at my school, we have a half day on that Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and every professor cancels class. It makes no
Yes.
sense. I don't know why they have class that day. So,
Right.
it's kind of, I always find that funny. I would
Right.
say underrated for me is Christmas Eve. I feel like
Oh yeah.
everyone thinks
Good
about
one.
Christmas, but Christmas Eve, when you think about the excitement for Christmas and just all the stuff, I don't know. I feel it's a really cool holiday that doesn't get enough love, in my opinion.
I
And
agree.
I just like thinking about Christmas that day. It's just something about it. I
Yeah.
will say overrated is Halloween for myself. I feel
Okay.
like after trick-or-treating, it just doesn't hit the same. And I feel like you only get a costume to wear for like a few hours and that's it. So I just feel
Right.
like it's not as fun as people make it out to be, in my opinion.
Right. That makes sense.
Now, what is the most interesting thing you've read or seen this week?
Oh my goodness. That's a good one. Interesting. Well, you know what? Actually, maybe not this week, but I watched Shark Week. That was really interesting. I love Shark Week.
That is
Everything.
cool.
So that I think that would be my answer.
For me, I was just watching how the soccer game in Miami yesterday was
Mhm.
like, it was a like very interesting how they handled it. Like, I guess people got into the arena that didn't have tickets, so then they had to shut it down. It became a whole
Yeah.
disaster. And then there were people like climbing in the vents trying to get into the stadium. It was just a crazy scene that I've not seen before ever. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
That's a good one.
Now, obviously, you have the best style on the Wagner women's lacrosse team, but besides yourself, who would you say has the best style off the field?
Like, okay, so this is a good one, but are we talking like street clothes style or like
It doesn't matter. You obviously see your teammates and what they wear every day. So I'm just curious who you think has sort of the best style. Like when you go to class, like who would you say has the best fits?
I think absolutely Nia Scott. She was just a fifth year. She's a sixth year grad student. She has the best style, best clothes, like hands down. She wins. She takes the cake on that one.
Now, if you could watch only one movie for the rest of your life, which one would it be?
Gosh. You know what? Maybe like The Grinch.
That's a good
That
movie.
yeah,
Which
that's
one, the newer one or the old school one?
no, the old one with Jim Carrey,
Okay.
for sure.
I would say Miracle. I just think that movie hypes me
Okay.
up. It's a good movie too, and I can quote a lot of stuff from it, so I'll go with that one.
You know, you picked a good movie, Miracle. Meanwhile, I'm choosing The Grinch.
Grinch is a
So
good movie.
it
It's all up
is.
to perspective, so some people might think
Yeah.
I made a bad choice, so it's all good.
No,
It's all good.
Miracle's great. That's a great choice.
Now, who is your celebrity crush?
You know what? I don't know if I really have a celebrity crush, but like my all-time favorite celebrity has to be like Adam Sandler.
That's a good
So
answer.
cool.
Yeah,
He's like such a normal person, but he's so famous. And like the pictures of him playing basketball, like pickup basketball, I'm like, he's awesome. So
yeah.
he's probably not a crush, but like my most favorite ever.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
You like his personality. Let's just say
Yes.
that. Exactly.
Yeah, he's great.
I don't know it's either for myself. I feel like every guy says the same answer, like Margot Robbie or something like that, but
Right.
I don't
I mean,
know.
he's gorgeous.
I don't know.
That makes sense.
I guess I'll go with what everyone says for that one. Last non-lacrosse question is what is one item on your bucket list that you would like to accomplish one day?
I think for me, it's definitely to run a marathon. That's like my big ticket item that I will do once I kind of close the book with lacrosse and turn the page and my athletic lifestyle. I think I definitely want to run a marathon.
Yeah. I would say I would like to run one as well, but only the Boston Marathon just because it's
Yeah.
such iconic
Yeah.
one. Outside of that though, probably like travel to all 50 states and see every single ballpark in Major League Baseball. I feel like that would be kind of a cool thing to do.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome.
Now, getting back to some lacrosse questions now. First one is what should be done to help grow women's lacrosse from your perspective?
I mean, I think that things like what you're doing now is so amazing and helping to grow the game of women's lacrosse. I mean, I've seen that you interview girls from all divisions, all teams, all conferences, and it's so awesome to be able to hear from these players and on their experiences, and it gives such a great lens to younger players who might want to go play in college and they learn a lot. And I think that in terms of especially like televising games, having all of the NCAA tournament on TV and streaming so that everybody can watch it, I think that is super important. And to keep doing things like that, and AU Pro is getting huge and it's so fun to watch. So, I mean, it's definitely going in the right direction. So, I think to just keep growing on the good things that are sticking now is really important.
Yeah, and do you have any advice for those younger players on what it takes to be a college lacrosse player like yourself?
I think it's just a lot of like kind of my mindset is like work hard, play hard. So like I work as hard as I can and then I get to enjoy time with my teammates off the field and we get to do all the fun things and hang out all the time. And it's because we put in so much work to be Division 1 athletes and get ourselves at this level so we're able to enjoy our downtime and be together. And I think just really work hard and figure out what works best for you because I feel like there's a lot of pressure in recruiting and it's scary, but and you're always comparing yourself to others and looking at what other people are doing. But I think for younger people to just younger girls to find what works best for you and chase that dream rather than, doing something that might not be what you really want.
Now, Katie, do you have any shout outs you want to give to your family members, teammates, friends, former teammates, and who should we have on the podcast next?
Well, shout out to my whole team because they're fabulous and we're going to be back so soon and playing together. And I'm so excited for that. But I think definitely special shout out to my sister Brayden Siverson, who I mentioned earlier. I think she would be great to have on the podcast because she's amazing and she has a lot to share and kind of teach. So Brayden would be great. And that's my
Awesome.
big shout out.
Awesome. I feel like we got to do a podcast with all three of you guys at some point. I feel like that would be a lot of
Oh
fun.
yeah, that'd be amazing.
Well, Katie, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate your time. I think you're a great player and an even better person, and I can't wait to see you come back from your injury. Even stronger comeback season is starting soon, so it's going to be a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
fun to watch that. And obviously, best of luck to your team for the following season as well. But you're one of my favorite players to watch, and it sucked that you couldn't play last year, but I'm excited to see you come back even stronger for next year. But thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.